Good morning, grade 11s. Today we're going to look at the exchange rate worksheet that has been uploaded to Moodle and Teams. Today is the 5th of May. I just want to remind you to mark your work from yesterday, your answer series textbook page 90, test your understanding. That memo is on page A15. And I forgot to mention the Platinum revision exercise, which is uploaded onto Moodle on Teams only, and you will receive that memo today. Right, so onto the worksheet. If you would like, you can pause your video now to do this worksheet. Just take note, you do not have to complete question D, as you are not required to do estimations for exchange rates. On the next page, you will see that it is also a numbered question. There's another question 3 and 4. This is just because it has been taken from a different exercise, but just number it like that regardless. Alright, so pause your video now, do the exercise, and then work through it with me. Alright, so if we look at question 1, what does it mean for the rand to weaken against another currency? It will cost more rands for that currency. Therefore, you need to give up more units of the rand to gain the same amount of another currency. What does it mean for the rand to strengthen against another currency? It will cost less rands for that currency. Or you would have to give up less units of the rand to gain the same amount of another currency. Question 3. If the exchange rate is currently 11 rand to the pound, and last week it was 12 rand to the pound, has the rand strengthened or weakened against the British pound? In this case, it has strengthened, since you have to give up less rands in order to gain the same amount of pounds. Question 4. So they tell you the story about this excellent opportunity for grade 12s, and Bianca gets to go to New York, and she's going to New York soon, and we need to help her answering the following questions by looking at the table. She has done some research on exchange rates, and you'll see that they are listed from the 8th of August to the 12th of August. You'll see that the exchange rates are quoted to 4 more decimal places, and that's how it's done on the markets. However, when we write down our answers, we will write them down to 2 decimal places. Right, so 4A, on which day would Bianca have received the most dollars for 1 rand? So that is the 8th of August. B, on which day would Bianca have received the most rands for $1? And that you will see on the 11th of August. 7 rand 31 cents. C, on which day was the rand the strongest? So that means on which day would you have to give up the least amount of rands to gain $1, and that was on the 8th of August. Right, so we are skipping D and we're moving straight on to E. Calculate the exact amount of dollars with 7,000 rand if money was exchanged on Monday, the 8th of August. If you'll take a look at my answer over here, you'll see I just wrote down the exchange rate here on Monday, the 8th of August. The exchange rate was $1 equals 6,96928 rand. In order for me to convert from rands to the dollar, I'm going to divide by the multiple currency given here on the right side. Just remember that exchange rate is a ratio that they give you. The unit currency on the left and the multiple currency on the right. If I am converting from rands to dollars, I'm going to divide by the multiple currency. In order to change 6,96928 to 1, I will divide by itself. The same goes for dollars to rands. If I'm converting an amount of dollars to rands in this ratio, I'm going to multiply with 6,96928. What do you need to do to 1 in order to get 6,96928? You multiply with 6,96928. Right, so this works exactly like ratios. So I'm going from rand to dollar. So therefore, I will divide with 6,96928. And that gives me $1,004.41. If I'm looking at F, calculate the the exact amount of dollars purchased with 7,000 Rand if money was exchanged on the 11th. Now the 11th, the exchange rate was slightly different. 7 Rand, 31,3104. Again, I'm going from rands to dollars, so I'm going to divide by the multiple currency on the right to convert it to the unit currency on the left. 7,000 divided by 7,3104 to 2 decimal places gives me $957.54. Right, moving on to G. If you take a look at G, how much more money would have been received if money was exchanged on the Monday rather than the Thursday? So they are referring back to for F and E. On those days, on Monday, you'd have gotten $1,004.41. On Thursday, you got $957.54. Now the difference is $46.87. That is how much more dollars you would have had if you exchanged it on Monday instead of Thursday. Right, question 4H. What was the percentage increase from the lowest to the highest dollar-rand exchange rate? So here you will see that this is the calculation for a growth percentage. You also just did that when we did inflation last week. Remember, we used the formulae new minus old over old times 100. Right, you'll see in this example that where is it now? Question. So on Monday, which was the highest dollar-rand exchange rate, is given a 6,96928. This was on the 8th of August, whereas the exchange rate on the what was it here? On the 11th of August was given as 7,3104 Rand for $1. So this would be our newer exchange rate, new minus the older exchange rate, 6,96928, divided by 6,96928 times 100 will give you 4,89%. If you were to give us this answer as 5%, we would most probably still mark it correctly, unless they specifically said round off to 2 decimal places. But to be safe here, we will round it off to 2 decimal places, regardless of 4,89%. Question number 3 on the next page of your exercise. Exchange rates have marked effects on many financial aspects within a country. Name 2 aspects that are affected by changing exchange rates. So I just wrote down a few, even though there are numerous aspects that it would affect, but mainly it has to do with our international transactions with other countries. And this is mainly would be imports, exports, investments. With stronger currencies, you might have less exports because for the rest of the world, your goods are becoming more expensive. With stronger currencies in other countries, when our currency decreases in value, for example, we might decrease our imports because the rest of the world's goods are becoming more expensive relative to ours. Also, the exchange rates of other countries' currencies will directly influence the prices in our domestic country, and therefore it could have effects on inflation, which we spoke about last week. Investments, you do know that the exchange rates or the financial markets in the world is a great source of investment. Many people choose to convert their local currencies to the stronger, more reliable currencies in the world, like the dollar and the pound and the euro, in order to secure the value of their money. Right, and of course tourism. Tourism, movement of people over to other countries. You would have to exchange your own money for someone else's or a different currency, and usually the more expensive other countries' currencies are, the more sensitive you are when traveling to those countries, and vice versa. Right, any other relevant answer is acceptable. If we move on to question 4, they give us a real scenario there about Dean and Yvonne, and they've taken a holiday to Zambia and Botswana, and they've given us a table of the exchange rates between the currencies of both countries and the South African rand. Right, so in the table you'll see that 1 rand equals 0.9344 Botswana pula. In brackets we'll just abbreviate BWP. You don't have to know all the symbols of these currencies. Just when you do write down an answer in a particular currency, just write down the abbreviation of the currency next to your answer. Right, so this will be given as ZK for Zambian kwacha. So 1 rand equals 584.33 Zambian kwacha. So you also see that the Botswana pula, their currency is slightly stronger than the South African rand, because for 1 rand you get less than 1 Botswana pula. The opposite is true for Zambian kwacha. If you look at 1 rand equals 584.33 Zambian kwacha, that means we will get more than 1 unit of their currency for 1 unit of ours, and that indicates a weaker currency for the Zambian kwacha. Right, so moving on to question 4.1. Dean and Yvonne budgeted to spend 40 rand per person for lunch every day. This is budgeted and not spent. This is particularly important when we get to question 4.2. Right, just question 4.1.1. What is this amount in Botswana pula? So I'm going to convert rand to Botswana pula. So you'll see my answer over here, 4.1.1, that 40 times the exchange rate of 0.9344 gives me 37.38 Botswana pula. On the right here, I just wrote down the exchange rate when I'm going from the unit currency on the left, which is rand, to the multiple currency on the right. I'm converting to Botswana pula. I'm going to multiply. Right. How do I convert 1 to 0.9344? I multiply with 0.9344. So therefore, 40 rand times 0.9344 equals 37.38. And the same for question 4.1.2. When I convert to the Zambian kwacha, what is the amount in Zambian kwacha? Again, I am converting from rand to kwacha. Therefore, I will take the unit currency and multiply it in order to get the multiple currency here. So we will take 40 rand times 584.33 equals 23,373,20 Zambian kwacha. Just abbreviate the currencies next to it if you are not sure about its symbol. Right, moving on to question 4.2. They give us another scenario. Their accommodation in Zambia at a 4-star hotel cost them 1,451,967,64 Zambian kwacha per couple for bed and breakfast per day. Take note that it is per couple for bed and breakfast per day. They stayed at the hotel for 3 nights. To secure their accommodation, they paid a deposit of 3,629,919 Zambian kwacha, which would be included in the total amount they paid for the trip at the end of the day anyway. This is also particularly important for when we calculate the total cost of when they leave the hotel, because here we would exclude the deposit they paid in the beginning. Right, their dinner costs 329,112.67 per person in Zambian kwacha. They both had dinner at the hotel 3 times. Then they traveled to Chobe National Park. I'm assuming now they are moving from Zambia to Botswana. They went on a luxury riverboat on the Chobe River for 3 nights. This stay included meals and drinks and cost them 7,718 rand. Right, so 4.2.1, what was the cost of their stay on the riverboat in Botswana, Pula? So here I will see question 4.2.1. 7,718 rand times 0,9344. Again, as before, I will multiply with 0,9344 to convert to Botswana Pula. I'm going from rand to Pula. This will give me 7,211,70 Botswana Pula. Right, now with question 4.2.2. Determine the cost of their stay in Zambia in Zambian kwacha. Right, so we will have to look at the scenario again. You'll note again that they had a 3-night stay for a couple. This was given as 1,451,967.64 Zambian kwacha. They stayed for 3 nights, and that's why I multiply with 3 to get the total for their stay, including breakfast. Right. Next part is for their dinner costs. They spent 329,112.67 kwacha per person, so you have to multiply it by 2, and they had dinner 3 times, so we are basically multiplying this number by 6. This was per person, and they did this for 3 nights. This gives us the total on the right side over here, and then we will just add it up, and it will give us the answer in Zambian kwacha. Right, also take note, they did mention that they budgeted for 40 rand per person for lunch per day, but they never actually said whether or not they spent that money, so we have to assume we are only including the stay with dinner included, plus their dinners, and assuming that they were full enough to not have lunch on each day. Right, if I go to the last question, question 4.2.3, calculate the total amount due when they left the hotel in South African rands. Right, so now I'm taking my previous answer in kwacha, 6,330,578.94 kwacha, and just take note that we have to deduct the deposit that they paid before they went. This secured their booking and therefore is deducted off of the total amount when they are invoiced at the end of their trip. So what they actually owe is just the rest at the end of their trip. And therefore we exclude the deposit and we only owe the hotel 2,700,659.94 Zambian kwacha. Now I need to convert from kwacha to rand. Again, the rand kwacha exchange rate was given as this. 1 rand equals 584,33 what was it, Zambian kwacha. So I am going from kwacha to rand, therefore I will divide. I'm going from my multiple currency to my unit currency, so I need to divide by itself in order to get 1. So therefore 2,700,659,94 divided by the rate equals 4,621,000 rand and 81 cents. Right, so that brings us to the end of the exercise for today. You'll see that tomorrow, for the 6th of May, there's no video. However, you need to go through the measuring volume notes from page 2 to 4. Complete the Platinum exercise 6. It is on Moodle on Teams. You will be given the memo on the 11th of May. And for Thursday, the 7th of May, continue with your measuring volume notes from page 6 to 8. The Platinum page 121 to 121, you'll do exercise 8 for Platinum. But this again is on Moodle because you don't have your books with you. Alright, thank you. That's all for now, grade 11s. Enjoy the rest of your week and we will see you next week. Bye.